Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of this series on the 5 themes of geography. Today's topic, latitude and longitude. And we are with a special guest today, Fred the alien. So let's talk about latitude and longitude. But first, let's talk about the learning goal. After this video and the lesson we did in class, you should be able to go to the top of Mount Everest and with your loudest voice and with your greatest confidence say, I can use latitude and longitude to find the absolute location of a place. Absolute location can be found by using lines of latitude and longitude. Remember, absolute location is the exact point on Earth that a place is located. So we can use latitude and longitude to find absolute location. So what are lines of latitude and longitude? Lines of latitude and longitude are imaginary lines on Earth created by cartographers to help us find places. Just a reminder, cartographers are map makers. So the people who make maps have created these imaginary lines on Earth known as latitude and longitude to help us find places. Together, lines of latitude and longitude form a grid system. So if you look at the map of Earth on the page, when you put latitude and longitude together, it forms a grid system. Lines of latitude and longitude are measured in degrees. And you see the symbol posted on the screen as well. So we are going to look at how to read latitude and longitude because it helps us locate the absolute location. So lines of latitude. Lines of latitude describe a point's position on the surface of Earth in relation to the equator. And on Earth, I have put a red line where the equator is. The equator is the starting point for lines of latitude and is measured at 0 degrees. So the equator is 0 degrees. Think about it if you're running a race. You always have a starting point. Well, for lines of latitude, the equator is our starting point and it's 0 degrees. The equator is like the belt of Earth. Okay, so it's at the center of Earth and it wraps all the way around. So I have a picture of Earth with not only the equator in red, but other lines of latitude in yellow and green. The yellow lines measure north of the equator. All right, so lines of latitude measure north of the equator, and those are the yellow lines. They are measured in degrees north. Lines of latitude south of the equator measure south of the equator, and they're measured in degrees south, or degrees S. So lines of latitude measure north and south of the equator. The highest north you can possibly go is 90 degrees north, and that is known as the North Pole. And the highest degree of latitude south is 90 degrees south, and that is the South Pole. So if the equator is your starting point, the North and the South Pole are your finish lines. Again, just a reminder, lines of latitude measure north and south of the equator. So here's Fred. Fred's back, and he's trying to determine what line of latitude he is located. He is lost. So what you do is you find the point, so everyone see Fred, and you see what line of latitude he is on. Okay, so again, lines of latitude are parallel to the equator, so they go side to side. And you will find that Fred is at 10 degrees north. Does everybody see how I did that? All right, remember, lines of latitude go side to side. There's Fred. So he's at 10 degrees north. And remember, lines of latitude north, here's the equator, and then south. Lines of longitude. Lines of longitude describe a point's position on the surface of Earth in relation to the prime meridian. So on this map of Earth, I have drawn a red line where the prime meridian is located. The prime meridian is the starting point for lines of longitude and is measured in 0 degrees. So wherever a starting point is, it's 0 degrees. So for longitude, it is the prime meridian. And the prime meridian runs through Greenwich, England. All right, so this is the starting point, the prime meridian. If you think of longitude, it goes from top to bottom. It goes from the North Pole to the South Pole. So instead of lines of latitude that look like you're climbing up and down the steps of a ladder, longitude, just think of a tall person. They're very long, right? So longitude goes from North Pole to South Pole. They go up and down. All right, so lines of longitude, they measure west and east of the prime meridian. So lines of latitude west, or lines of longitude west of the prime meridian are measured in degrees west, and lines of longitude east of the prime meridian are measured in degrees east. All right, so lines of longitude measure east and west of the prime meridian. And lines of longitude go from 0 to 180 degrees east and 0 to 180 degrees west. Okay, because it makes 360 degrees total. So 180 degrees west, 180 degrees east. 180 degrees both way is the finish line. It is where lines of longitude end. So here's Fred again. Fred wants to know where am I? What's my line of longitude? So if you look, I draw a line. Remember, we go up and down. Fred is at 50 degrees west. All right, so Fred is at 50 degrees west. Does everyone see how I did that? So now that you know lines of latitude and longitude, how do you write it? How do you write them when they're both together? And so we always go latitude, comma, longitude. So latitude before longitude. For an example, Tokyo, Japan is located at 36 degrees north, comma, 140 degrees east. So here's Fred again. He's lost for a third time. So let's figure out his latitude and longitude. We are going to find his absolute location. So first, let's find latitude because, again, latitude comes first. So once we find his latitude, we find that he is at 70 degrees south. Does everyone see how to find 70 degrees south? And now we found his latitude. Let's find his longitude. He is at 50 degrees east. So we write it as 70 degrees south and 50 degrees east. That is his latitude and longitude. That is his absolute location on Earth. So we are able to find Fred now. Remember, latitude, comma, longitude. And don't forget to remember your degree symbol because latitude and longitude are measured in degrees. So that's a quick lesson on latitude and longitude. I know we have practiced it a lot in class, but it's good to be reminded once again how to read and write latitude and longitude. Don't forget, today is tomorrow's history. Until next time.